Hello and welcome to Reading with Jim Larsen. I'm Jim Larsen. I'm going to read to you. This is the only show on YouTube where I read to you. And you know what? I'm happy to do it. Today I'm reading from the book. I'm just going to read a page in a book, maybe 2 pages. It's called, well, you already know what it's called. I showed it to you. Discover Charlottesville. Talking about Charlottesville, Virginia, for those of you who are geographically disinclined. All right, I'm going to read this article, this story, this passage, if you will. It's called Feasting Wild Grown Goodies. It's by Elizabeth Hope Derby. I'll show you that. And you see this dude? We're going to be talking about this dude. He looks like a Charlottesvillian, I guess. I didn't really spend too much time in Charlottesville while I was in Central Virginia just now. Okay, here we go. Going for a walk in the woods with Jay Marion is like stepping back in time. Follow him through untamed mountain landscapes, down rutted country roads, creek beds, and wild paths, and you'll notice your senses heighten. You may feel like an explorer as you learn how to scrutinize fields, trees, and the earth underfoot. You're looking for treasures. I'm trying to get comfortable in this chair, I'm sorry. Treasure like a bright green cluster of ramps or a tangle of brambles, studded with fruit-like edible jewels. For the last 40 years, professional forager Marion has been combing Appalachian to harvest wild foods. He describes his work as a professional forager like opening up Mother Nature's pantry and partaking of all the goodies. I like that. He learned the art of foraging from his maternal grandparents, who lived off the land as homesteaders in West Virginia. Legitimate homesteaders, I hope. Not just homesteaders who take over a backyard. No comment. Before I was even in school, he says, they'd take me out and we'd go up on the Allegheny Mountains out past Monterey and pick huckleberries. He learned to gather wild strawberries and blackberries, water lettuce, and watercress. Afterward, the family would feast on their matriarch's homemade pies, cakes, and jelly rolls. My grandmother was a fantastic cook, he says. Oh my God, it was good. In 2007, Marion founded Digger J's Wild Edibles, a professional foraging outfit that passes on the tradition of delicious foraged foods to restaurants, breweries, and wineries around the country. He scours local forests and hillsides to supply Charlottesville, Albemarle, and Nelson County cooks with wild ingredients for their menus. Unlike chain restaurants, which rarely deviate from a prescribed list of ingredients, his clients tend to be standalone restaurants with adventurous chefs at the helm. His finds feature in many Charlottesville hotspots, including downtown Charlottesville favorites like Rapture, Fellini's, Hamilton's, the Alley Light, and Revolutionary Soup. In a city that caters to foodies who love hyper-local and handcrafted meals, farm-to-table concepts are commonplace. Marion's Edibles take the trend one step further by creating a wild-to-table experience. When he gathers, the when he gathers depends on the season, as is true of all wild grown harvests. But His common finds include ramps, water lettuce, morels, persimmons, apples, grapes, berries, nuts, and ginseng. I'll stay out there and collect or just do recon and make my own notes on where things are, he says. He routinely spends all day in the woods, sometimes camping overnight. The day that I'm coming back is usually the day that I pick, unless it's something that won't spoil or wilt. Trying to think of something that won't spoil or wilt. If you can think of something, leave it in the comments below. When he was young, Marion loved to forage because it felt like an adventure. I'd go to West Virginia and we'd get to see the animals, so it mirrored a lot of the Walt Disney movies I watched, he says. I felt like, hey, this is cool. We're living off the land like Indians or pioneers. To this day, he describes foraging as a part of his spirit. I get peace when I'm out there. I get my batteries recharged. Yeah, I totally see that. It's a feeling he hopes to pass on to his grandsons, both of whom he has trained in the art of foraging, as well as to anyone experiencing the gastronomic pleasure of wild foods for the first time. The big reward is when I come home and I can mix something for somebody who has never partaken of anything like it. He says, and this is the last sentence. Ready for it? Last sentence. Or I can get these edibles in the chef's hands and they can do their magic. This dude sounds cool. I like this guy. This has been Reading with Jim Larsen. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking. I got a lot on my mind.